Hello, this is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Put your questions in the comments now so that I can answer your questions. Now, I do have some information today. We're going to be looking ahead today at 2025 and what immigration could be looking like in 2025. Now, the past couple months have been tough in terms of certain types of laws that are being passed in states like Florida, Texas, that are really disheartening. Immigrants are being placed in harm's way. They're being targeted by these laws, which means that when immigrants have to face these types of laws, it means threat of family separation. It means that immigrants are now vulnerable because they can't work or they have to live in the shadows. So that makes them vulnerable to trafficking and mistreatment, abuse, and crime. Because these laws are geared towards making them fair deportation, making them fair living in the open, and even making them fair seeking immigration solutions. But now is the time. That's what I want to let you know. Now is the time because immigration could be looking a lot uglier in the future. So, as you know, Trump, who was president before, he has, followed through with some of his threats while he was president. For example, if you remember, we had the Muslim ban, and he did move forward with that Muslim ban and it was implemented. You did have immigrants from majority Muslim countries who could not come to the United States. Well, he is going to do a lot worse if he becomes president. Now, a lot of people, and this is what's dangerous because I remember back in when he won the election in 2016, there were many individuals that were like, he can't become president. He just can't. And he did. And when he became president, he started to attack immigrants. He started to implement policies targeting undocumented immigrants. Being undocumented does not mean that you're a bad person. But in the kinds of policies that he's going to be implementing will certainly put them in that category, will make criminalize undocumented immigrants, which can be so dangerous and inhumane. Right. And as someone here says, it was a horrible time. I remember because as an immigration attorney, I was in the middle of it. So I do know there is a lot to be desired right now. Right. There's so many improvements. We absolutely need positive, fair, and just immigration reform. However, it's it's a lot better than it was during the Trump era. And now, what we're hearing people saying he's not going to become president. Don't worry, it's not going to happen. I would say this: look how far he is right now. He is still the front runner in this election. He's still the front runner. He hasn't gone to one debate. He has not, he's just been going around and doing rallies. He is spending a lot of time going to court for all sorts of criminal charges. And that still is not enough for him to withdraw from this election or be disqualified. So we have to be very wary of if you're a citizen here, do not skip this election. If you have an immigrant friend, immigrant employees, immigrant family members, do not skip this next election. Make sure that you vote for the person that's going to look out for your family, look out for your friends, because it could be devastating. And I want to now list out to you what 2025 immigration could look like if Trump wins. And remember that Trump is not the Trump is a front runner right now. But say, for example, DeSantis, has also proven that he will implement draconian types of anti-immigration laws that will target undocumented immigrants and make them, stigmatize undocumented immigrants to the point where it could even they could even be as if they're criminals, right? But let me tell you, I'm going to summarize what Trump's plans are. So he would go ahead and he would gather all undocumented immigrants in the United States and start to put them in detention camps. So that is one of his main goals, is that he would carry out massive raids to hunt down undocumented immigrants and lock them up in these camps for deportation without due process. Meaning, usually when you're going through this deportation, you only very limited people can just be sent back home. Uh, Undocumented immigrants do have due process where they can go through a court process to be removed. So a judge has to hear the case. You have a chance to defend yourself. You have a chance to apply for relief sometimes at immigration to get the deportation canceled. So there are different avenues that you could take to stay here in the United States. Well, under Trump, millions of undocumented immigrants would be deprived this opportunity, and they would be kept in inhumane detention camps to be sent off. So he's planning to do that, and his plan involves getting empty pieces of land and putting tent cities on the land to have house immigrants in tents for removal. So we're going to have mass deportations, mass detention, mass raids. He will, right now, there is a separation in who can do what. State police, the sheriffs, they can't they can't enforce immigration law. Of course, we're seeing that things are becoming different now because the states are now allowing them to do things like check status. For example, in Texas, remember they've approved the law where the officer can check immigration status and then deport. Carry someone to the border and deport them. If they refuse, they can charge them with a crime. In Florida, they can check their immigration status to then determine whether they are smuggling immigrants into the state or whether their driver's license is valid or not. So we're seeing a difference in approaches at the state level. And Trump would make sure that that continues to be something that's allowed, where the federal government, Trump would then turn and they would work with the states. Right now, the federal government is not working with the states on this, but the federal government will work with the states to deputize police officers, state police, National Guard, to go ahead and arrest, detain, check for immigration status, and also to be at the border. So that is scary, because now he's definitely going to be able to facilitate his plan to conduct massive raids and mass detention, because then he would deputize and authorize local law enforcement to do this kind of thing. He said he would reinstate the Muslim ban. So the Muslim ban, if you remember, and then he started to, by the way, he started to not only do the Muslim ban, but then he started to look at countries where there were many overstays, and he started to ban people from traveling from those countries, from getting visas to come here to the U.S. In here, he's going to do the Muslim ban. He's also going to drastically restrict immigration. So, for example, if you're coming in with a visa, they're going to make sure that maybe you put up a bond of thousands of dollars before you can enter the country. Maybe you have to show that you can pass certain health checks. So that is going to drastically reduce who is qualified to come into the country. He's going to re-implement the COVID-19 era policy, I believe Title 42, that then said because of the public emergency with COVID-19, this infectious disease, they have to deny asylum seekers at the border from coming into the country. Well, he's planning to expand that to all infectious, like certain types of infectious diseases, where they can keep people, reject asylum seekers on that basis. So it's uh, pretty scary, because one of the things with asylum is you come to the border and you can get a special interview, a credible, fair interview for the officer to determine whether you do have a credible fear of persecution. And if so, then the officer can allow you to come in and apply for asylum, or go to the court and go through the court for asylum. Well, in this case, nobody is going to be able to do that. So, a principle that I think, America has, one of the principles America has been built on will no longer be, right. It's just, you can't come in even if your life is in danger. Now, and then also birthright citizenship. They will end birthright citizenship. So someone asked me, if they don't have their papers, but they give birth to a child here, is that child going to be a citizen? Yes. However, Trump is now saying, and DeSantis has said the same thing, that they're going to end birthright citizenship. Ramaswamy, or I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's also a candidate. He has also said he's going to end birthright citizenship. So right now, a lot of the Republican candidates are on the side of ending birthright citizenship, meaning if you are not born to a citizen parent, even though you're born here, you're not going to be a U.S. citizen. So that is also very scary, because now we'll have children who are born in the United States who will not belong to a country. Now, can he do all of this, right? Is this legal for him to do it? And I would say this. Trump has done a lot of things that we would think would not be legal during his time. And it was really a hard fight to stop him from doing, for example, stop him from ending TPS. He did it, and then he says, "Try me on it," and then we had a bunch of lawsuits to try to stop him from doing it. So he can do it. He can do it, and then it's going to take a fight, and that means that the people that are, for example, those who have TPS, who now they can't, while this lawsuit is going on, they're suffering because there's no resolution for them. So can he do it? He can sure do it and say, "Try me," because he's done that before. So um, we can certainly fight. As an immigration attorney, I definitely fight for my clients, but it doesn't prevent the immigrants from suffering throughout that entire period that this is going on. So it's scary. So it's a lot of this stuff is not legal. I don't believe it's legal. I don't believe it's some of these things. For example, ending birthright citizenship. That's a constitutional right. That is a right that nobody that's granted under the supreme law of the land. But keep in mind that it's not just Trump. It's going to be the entire party. If the conditions are right, we can see them making a lot of changes and coming together to make a lot of changes like this that we believe are against the American policies, that are illegal. We can then see them turn their beliefs, how they want the policy to be, into the actual law, right? If you have a majority of Republicans in Congress, the House, the Senate. Then you have Trump. Then you have the Supreme Court. Remember, we have a majority conservative justices. Many of them were nominated by Trump. So this is why we're now having, for example, we have the abortion ruling that came through. Never thought that could happen. Well, it did. So um, these things can be possible. Conditions, if the conditions are right, and there's nobody to fight the majority, as we've seen in Florida, as we've seen in Texas, there's nobody there to fight the majority. We can see these policies go through, no problem, right? And we can fight as much as we can, but it means that people will suffer still. Another thing is he is planning to end TPS and DACA, which he tried before. He's going to make sure that it happens this time, and he will have the time to do it. So, we need to make sure that if you are a US citizen, make sure that you are voting. Think about your relatives, your family, your friends, your employees. Think about what's at stake for them. Also, if if you are a permanent resident, now is the time to apply for citizenship so you can partake in this process of voting for the right side, right? Voting to make sure that we don't have dangerous policies like this that dehumanize immigrants. Because these policies will not only affect undocumented immigrants, it's going to affect everybody. And then it's going to affect the economy because now we have a drastic cut in immigration. We're going to have a drastic cut in legal immigration. So if you qualify for citizenship, do it now. Now is the time. If you are a citizen, hear me out. I know I hear some people saying, I don't get involved in all of that. It doesn't make a difference. It makes a difference. We did make a difference this last time when Biden was elected, and it on the immigration side has drastically improved the immigration process. It has, even though there's a lot needed, there are some policies that are still definitely backwards and against immigrants. They have really implemented policies at the same time that help um, are fair and just. I've felt that relief myself as an attorney, and it makes such a difference. So no matter what happens, I'm here to fight. I've been doing it for the past 10 years. I can continue doing it, but it sure would help if we did not have these kinds of policies in place. Now, if you are listening to this and you don't have your papers, it's also now a good time to get your papers. And it, hopefully we don't see this. We don't see Trump take over, but plan for anything. And I can tell you now is the time to do this because there are policies in place that do allow individuals to fix their status. If you're here without your status, there are policies in place that can assist you to get your papers, but I need to understand your situation. I need to evaluate your case to determine whether that can be done. Now, I am going to be announcing promotions tomorrow. So listen out for that. I'm going to formally announce it tomorrow. So join into the live tomorrow where we'll be handing out all sorts of goodies throughout this holiday season from Thanksgiving through Christmas. So because I really want to help you and I want to help you as soon as possible. So if we can make this even a little more accessible to individuals to get the help that they need, or at least the legal advice, I'm gonna make sure we do it this holiday season. I'm so sorry, I'm out of time. I don't have time to address your questions today, but I will be back tomorrow where we can talk about your questions. So please join me tomorrow, and tomorrow is when I'm making the announcement, and we will have we'll be able to get you'll be able to get some goodies in the live tomorrow at 12:30. So tomorrow at 12:30, join me, so you can get in touch with me and get started on your process so I can help you. All right. And you're so right. This year ended so quickly. You're so right. And this is why don't wait. Don't take time for granted. Time is moving fast. And you want to make sure that you look out for yourself, you invest in yourself, to get it right, get your papers right before anything happens. We hope for the best, but prepare for, you know, a rainy day or things not going the way we would like it to go. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a good day.